We'll build this together, any type of weather. Unity is key. Keeping first G-O-D. We will conquer the world. Baby, just you and me. I can vision us now. One big happy family.
Hey, you guys. I'm Latoya Walker.
And I'm Lonnie Walker.
And welcome back to Way of the Walkers. It's so good to be back.
Yes.
So, babe,
Yes.
what are we talking about today?
So, today we're going to talk about something that's near and dear to some people's hearts.
It's definitely a hot topic. It's definitely a hot topic. It's something that we haven't done in
Over 2 decades.
In decades, oh my gosh. And when we did it, it was way different. It was definitely different. We did not have all of the nuances that people are dealing with today in this world.
Right.
What are we talking about?
We're talking about, is there pee in the pool?
No, there is pee in the pool.
So it's not a question.
There is pee in the pool. We're talking about dating, guys. So when we dated, it was a lot different. We had cell phones. We're not that old. And the internet, but we did not have all these apps, all of the extra social media things that people are dealing with today. It was just way different.
So, like, for example, now you can go and say, hey, I'm landing in LA. You push a button, and that'll let everybody know you're in LA and you're trying to hang out, and I'm at this place.
Hang out. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I didn't put the quotes up. They really trying to hang out. And they're trying to get into something and get to know people.
Right.
Well, we didn't have that.
We did not have that. And so, being that we did not go through that, we have some guests here who are in the mix. Not that they're both with someone. Someone just got engaged, actually.
Yes.
But they know the landscape. So we invited these wonderful young professional black men on our show. And go ahead and introduce them.
So they have a podcast. It's called Let's Talk Like Men.
Yes.
And so we have two of these fine gentlemen here today. So first we have Miles the Millennial Harris. He's a best-selling author, motivating speaker, and thought provoker. He graduated from Fisk University, where he majored in business and currently resides in Houston now.
Yes.
He has empowered young men nationwide to achieve mental peace and fulfillment. Miles believes that young adults today can not only defeat the challenges they face, but they can change their mind in order to change their lives. And then this other young man, they went close to school together. He didn't give me that in the bio. But his name is Rex Howard Jr. He is a marriage and family therapist and a personal development coach who is deeply passionate about helping individuals and couples achieve the fullness potential in all aspects of their lives.
Wow.
With a half a decade of experience in coaching, Rex has helped people in all walks of life and backgrounds, helping them navigate complex relationship dynamics, overcoming personal challenges, and exploring their sexuality in safe and healthy ways.
Yes, sir.
So as y'all can see, these men are very well decorated, very well schooled. So we know that they're going to give us excellent information today.
Yeah, so
Absolutely.
welcome. Thank you guys so much for being on Way of the Walkers.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Yes. So I'm going to get right into it.
Okay. All right, let's
Being
do
the only lady here, but being a lady who has not been in the dating pool, I reached out to some single ladies that I know.
All right.
And they reached out to some of the single ladies they know. And,
It's going to be good then.
yes. And unfortunately, they've had a lot of negative experiences. And they are very interested in these questions.
Okay.
And they're interested in the feedback that you guys are going to give. Because having experienced what you guys talk about on your podcast and the wealth of knowledge that you have and the maturity that you guys have, I really want to know, and I'm sure they would love to know, what your thoughts are,
Absolutely.
right? Because a lot of times they're talking to their girlfriends about it,
Yeah.
and sometimes that's not wise.
Yeah.
Or they're trying to understand how a man treated them through the perspective of what they've been through.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And that's not always great clarity. So with the platform that you guys have, I want you guys to give these women some hope, really,
Yeah.
and some clarity.
Yeah.
So with that being said, the first question is this: have the tables turned? Are men wanting to be pursued instead of being the pursuer?
Who want to go first?
Go
Rex?
ahead.
All right, look. So I think that there are some men, right, a minority, that are loud and that get a lot of attention on social media
Yeah.
for maneuvering certain ways and trying to change the narrative, right? Where you're going to have to approach me, you're going to have to pursue me.
Right.
I'm not speaking to any woman first. I'm not going out of my way for any woman first. I don't think that that's the majority of men. I think that the issue that we have in today's world with social media is having an unpopular opinion gets you popular results.
Yeah.
You go viral. Everybody's responding to it because if people are pissed off at you about what you said, they're going to share it, they're going to repost it, they're going to like it. It's going to push in the algorithm further, right? And if people do like what you're saying, they're going to share it, repost it, and share. So it's a combination effect that's giving voices to people who really don't represent the majority of men. I don't personally know any man who wants the woman to do all the pursuing.
Wow.
Now, men may be nervous. Some men may not know how to navigate talking to a woman and approaching them. And it is nice sometimes where she makes it obvious, like, I'm attracted to you. I think you're cute, or you're really handsome, or she tells you, like, hey, would you like to buy me a drink or something like that. And I don't think there's a problem with the woman doing that. But as a man, you want something, you should go get it. And so, no, I don't believe that the tables have turned and men want women to pursue them. But what I will say is this. Men are becoming more emotionally intelligent. And they are becoming very aware that there are many women who carry an unhealthy mindset about how they want to be dated and courted. And they really are resembling people. They want people to trick off on them, right? And men are becoming very aware of that. And so they're trying to avoid women like that at all costs. So I think some people's game isn't working in their favor anymore because men are like, well, I'm going to reserve my coins until I know what your real intentions are. And that's a weird dynamic now.
Okay.
That's good.
I'm going to go back because,
Good.
as I said, we are not in a dating
Yeah.
realm.
Yeah.
So I don't even know what trick off means.
So tricking,
Okay.
using your body, your personality,
Okay,
whatever it
got
is,
it,
to
got
get
it.
paid for.
Got it.
Okay, I'm glad that I'm not the only one because I was like, I think I know what he means, but I want him to clarify
The
like what it
definition
means.
of trick hasn't changed yet.
Okay,
It's still the
we
same.
Got
didn't
it.
know what if you meant trick or treat, so we just was wanting clarity.
Yeah.
On what you meant by that,
Absolutely.
but basically,
Okay.
that's good.
And that's good to know that you're saying that men are gaining more emotional intelligence, more relational intelligence, and they're not going to be played anymore.
Exactly.
Right? And so we know as when we hold a lot of power.
Yes.
100%.
The
And
power.
okay. And we wield it in a certain way, but I think sometimes that power can be overwhelming and we use it in a way that can be negative for us, right? I wanted to hear what you think about the question.
Absolutely. So do I feel like tables have turned? I'm kind of leaning more towards what Miles says, right? That for a small majority, for a good amount of men that deal with rejection, they may want that pursuing now because they put themselves out there. They've slid in the DMs. They approached women at the bar or in the club. And a lot of women nowadays are not approachable.
Yes.
Tell
Right.
me what you mean by that.
Meaning, so for instance, when we used to go in the club, right? The goal was to dance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
There was no sections.
Absolutely.
Right. And then your confirmation or affirmation from a woman, if you went behind her to ask for a dance, she'll look at you and look at your outfit.
That's a big
and
moment.
If she can, and if you pass her vibe check, she gonna start dancing.
Exactly.
From that dance, based on how you dance and based on how y'all vibe together, after that dance, you say, hey, you know what? Can I get your number? You guys can go back and forth. nowadays women aren't dancing, and then also women are in clusters.
Okay.
So it's hard to approach a group of beautiful women
Yeah.
because they're unapproachable.
Yeah.
Right. And then even on social media, you're quick to get screenshotted if you shoot your shot.
Bro.
Oh wow, I did not
That
even
is
think
that
about
is
that.
so true.
Yes.
I didn't even think about
So
that.
if I find somebody attractive, I saw in DM, it's, girl, guess who just slid in my DM? Screenshot, sent. So now when the guy knows that, okay, there's a potential for me to be in somebody's DM or somebody's group chat, there's a potential for me to be rejected at the club, me to be rejected at the bar, unless I'm like buying a drink. Now, when men buy drinks, it don't even come with conversation no more.
Yeah.
A woman may take the drink and say, hey, I need one for my friend too, and leave the conversation.
Yep.
So there's rejection on
Wow.
all levels.
Yes.
So do I think the tables are turning? Yes, in certain situations with certain men because of that fear of rejection. But also, another reason why I don't think it's turning is because if me personally, coming from my experience, I've had multiple experiences.
Yes.
If a woman shows me that she's more interested in me than I'm more interested in her, then I'm going to manipulate that situation. Right? So at the end, I'm going to get what I want, and she may not get what she wants. She may end up with a broken heart. So it's kind of like a seesaw. It's a teeter-tatter, so you don't really know. I do believe that it's okay for a woman to initiate, because my lady did that, right? One thing, found my lady on a dating app.
Okay.
Right? There's a lot of different dating apps. Some are specific to hookups. Like Tinder. I call them Tinder benders. Like Tinder. But there's an app called Hinge. Is for professionals. Right? It takes you a second to set up your account. It lets you put in your beliefs, your likes, your dislikes, your personality, things like that. And then typically they give you highlights every day. You get 3 highlights. And you get 1 rose a week to send to your highlights. So you can either swipe right, meaning you don't want them, or you can send them that 1 rose. My lady did the initiation by sending me the rose, and I took care of the rest.
Okay.
So initiating the conversation or initiating the interest is okay, but if a woman comes with the approach of, no, I'm pursuing you, that I don't agree with that approach because that's backwards.
I agree.
Okay. So what I'm understanding is, because when this question was posed to me, the follow-up question is, if that's what men want, teach us how to pursue them.
Right.
And I'm like, I don't know if that's what men want.
Nah.
What you laid out, I think, is logical. You need to show your interest because of everything that you guys said.
Yeah.
Women are in clusters now. Women ain't trying to dance. Women are trying to get a drink for their friend and themselves and be like, see ya. But if you were to pursue a man to let them know, you know, you cute.
Yeah.
And
That's
then
enough.
the men will pick it up
Absolutely.
and run with it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Will be an indication that they're really interested,
That's
right?
enough right there.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
You drop a comment. Drop a comment, show some type of interest, wink an eye, just anything.
Anything.
A wave.
You could just say, those shoes are nice. What type of shoes, though? I know you don't care about these shoes. I know that you're saying that because you're attracted to me. You're trying to initiate conversation.
Right.
Yeah.
A man, look, I'm just going to say it. If after you have shown interest, he doesn't run with it and try to pursue further, he's not interested.
Yeah.
And if he is interested and he's not trying to maneuver and get to know you, you probably don't want to be with him anyway because he's a little too hesitant for what you're going to want in a man. And
Right.
I don't think any woman wants a man in their life that they constantly have to pull in order to get something out of them, in order to
Absolutely
see
not.
interest. So
Because for me, as a woman, I want to have a leadership role. When I get married, I want my husband to be able to cover
lead.
our household.
100%.
And for him, I saw that in him. He is so, I think he's like the best. Like he's so, like he has the thugginess that I like, but then he also has that softness.
Yeah,
so it's like
exactly.
the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
But
Gentle giant.
I didn't like the nice guy because I'm like, I want to know that if it come down to it, you gonna
Take care
handle
of it.
this,
Yep.
right? So, what do you have to say, babe?
It's interesting because it's tough. Like you said, the young lady, she show you attention. She asks about the shoes or she give you a wink and then the gentleman pursue. How do you know how will they know if that's a genuine pursuit or it's a conquer? So the next question that we have is, so are men more interested in courting or dating? Are they trying to oh, we're gonna do this for a little while. We gonna touch and agree a couple times, and then I'm gonna move
Touch and
on.
agree.
Versus, hey, I'm looking for a wife. I'm looking for a partner.
Right.
Take over the world. I found her, and now we're gonna pursue this together, leading to marriage.
Yeah. You go first on this one.
Okay, say less. It depend. Not only does it depend on his words, but it more so depends on his actions.
Yes.
Yes.
Right. A man that I was saying this to a friend the other day. A man that knows scripture, knows his purpose, makes good money is a dangerous man.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
he knows how to touch and hit all the bases. He knows a woman wants somebody that can lead spiritually. A woman wants somebody that's financially, and a woman wants somebody that can walk in their purpose. But if he's not ready for a wife, he's going to manipulate the hell out of that
Yes.
situation.
That's good.
Yes.
That's good.
So
yeah.
with that being the case, so if you show a man that you're interested and he comes and talks to you, and maybe he decides to take you on a date, pay attention to that conversation. Pay attention to how he carries himself. Pay attention to, is he opening up doors? Pay attention to how he treats the server. Pay attention if he's tipping. Pay attention to the direction that he's taking the conversation in. Is he focused on the physicality of things? Is he focused on, so what's the freakiest thing you ever done?
Yeah.
Right.
Like if
Right.
he's leading with that, you already know off rip.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, I also know this. It takes somebody about 3 months to reveal the real selves.
Yes.
Right? So be consistent. Know that they can switch at any moment. Somebody can work extremely hard to become, no, not to become, but to get your attention and to get what they want from you. Then after they get what they want, they're out of there.
Yes.
They can work it really hard. So it's all about the fruit, the work, their actions, and the words. They all have to align. If they don't align, then it's some red flags there.
Yeah.
Even the best manipulators show themselves eventually.
Yeah.
Especially when you push their back up against the wall
Yeah.
and make them have to make a choice.
Yeah, make them.
Right? So a lot of times, this is the worst thing you can do when you're dealing with somebody that's a manipulator. I know this because I've been that guy before. When you're in that manipulation phase, I'm paying attention to if you hold true on your word when you say, oh, I'm going to put up with this or I'm not going to put up with this. If you say, yeah, I'm not just going to be having meaningless sex with somebody and I know they messing around with somebody else and I'm going to stick around. No, if you're doing that with me, I'm going to leave.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll see. Because when I do it and then you find out about such and such is going on and you still hit me up when you want me or I'm still able to reach out to you, I know then and there I got control here.
Oh, 100%.
I got control here. I'm not worried about it. She doesn't mean what she's saying. Now you've set yourself up and set this standard for this man that I don't have to go hard for her no more. I don't have to even keep the veil on anymore. Right? You always reveal yourself when you push that person up against the wall, when they have to make a choice between sacrificing what they might want in the flesh in that moment versus what would be best for the both of you.
Yeah.
That's how you know what their true intentions are. Because if they're really trying to build something good, and you tell that man, you know, I see something great in you, but I don't want to have sex until we're at a certain point.
Yeah.
Right? I don't want to have sex until you make it official that we're boyfriend and girlfriend. I don't want to have sex until we've, you know, got into a point to where I feel like we are aligned.
Yeah.
And don't tell them necessarily too specific, because a manipulator will just do exactly what you're saying to get it.
Right.
But just give principles that you live by and showcase those principles. One thing I always could tell was a woman that wasn't playing and a woman that was.
Yeah.
I could tell. It's like, yeah, she says that. She don't mean that because she don't hold her friend accountable to this. She don't hold her homeboy accountable to this. She doesn't mean what she's saying. It just sound good. I can get away with what I want to get away with. But there was girls that I approached completely different because I could tell off rip when I would come with the same game, they saw right through it. So that self-work, that self-analysis, that self-esteem, it'll weed out a lot of that.
Yeah. That's good.
Go ahead. I'm not gonna forget what I got.
So, what I hear you saying, what I think I hear you saying is, you want a woman to give the ultimatum. You
You
want
have
them
to.
because we're taught as women, don't push too hard. You know, maybe giving the benefit of the doubt and things of that nature. But you're finding worth in the women who hold you accountable.
Absolutely.
100%.
Okay.
But see, when we say ultimatum, I want to rephrase it. I don't even want to say ultimatum. I want to just say boundaries.
Yes.
Standard,
Okay.
yeah.
You got to have a standard. You got to have boundaries. Like, hold me accountable to your boundaries that you said you have for yourself.
Yeah.
If you don't hold me accountable to the boundaries that you said you have for yourself, and you say you're not going to put up with these things, and you do, you are now an option.
Yeah, 100. Let me speak to that.
Yeah,
Let
go
me speak
ahead.
to that. Now I've changed, I've grown, I'm matured, right? I'm not who I used to be.
This is past
Come
us
on,
speaking.
let's
This is
hear
our
it.
past
5
self.
years ago.
Right,
Yeah,
yeah,
Let's
right.
hear
There you
it.
go.
So I remember there was a time in my life where everything was flowing in my direction, right? I get whatever I wanted to, and I would say I had like 3 girlfriends, right? And there was a point in my life where everything was a secret. I wouldn't tell nobody about the other person. And then one person said to me, Rex, I want you to be honest with me and give me the opportunity to make a decision on what I want to do with you or not. I said, okay, cool. I'm going to take that approach with everybody. So one of the young ladies I was dealing with, she asked me, hey, Rex, are you messing with somebody else? I said, yes, ma'am. She was just like, are y'all doing this? I said, yes, ma'am. And she was just like, I don't like that. But what you going to do about it?
Wow.
What are you going to do about it?
What's gonna change?
And she was like, you right. I said, all right.
So I guess I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing. then.
Exactly. And that's exactly what, so if a woman doesn't stick to her standard, doesn't stick to her boundaries and the value that she have in herself, she would be taken advantage of on many levels. Now, mind you, after I said what I said, I'm never taking advantage of women, but like everything is consent. But at the same time, it's that control piece.
Yeah.
So for a woman to know, I'm not going to deal with this. I will not deal with a man that hasn't chosen me. I will not deal with a man that's not spiritual. I will not deal with a man that doesn't show me that he can lead. I will not deal with a man that can show me he doesn't have any type of zip control.
Yeah.
Then that's what you have to have.
Yep.
One thing about my lady now, day 2, she said, Rex, I'm be honest with you. I'm looking for my husband and not a boyfriend.
Yes.
And not only that, I don't plan to be a girlfriend no longer than 2 years.
Okay.
My longest relationship is 4 years. The last relationship I got out of was 2 years. I wasn't close to being engaged at all. So with that standard, she let me know, and she exposed me like, all right, Rex, you say you want this. Is this really what you want?
Exactly.
And if this is what you want, then this is where you're supposed to be. If it's not what you want, then you have to let her go because she's not going to put up with none of your best.
Yes.
BS. So that's what I want to add to that.
Wow. I love that. I love it.
So it's great that you have men out here that want to be held accountable. But let's be honest. We really want our woman to hold us accountable and not nag, but like if you say you gonna do this, do it.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things with her. When we started dating and through marriage, I'm like, if I speak yes on it,
I'm going to do
it's
it.
a yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's it. So she'll ask me some stuff, and if I'm not sure, if I'm not sure, I will
Yes.
say no.
Yeah.
Even though I may be working on it in the background, but if I say that's it,
Yeah.
that's it. But what I wanted to go back to was the sex thing.
Okay.
So where are y'all on the? Because I know y'all was like some people have 3 months.
Yeah.
What happened to the wait till we get married to
Yeah.
have sex
Right.
thing? Because that's the biblical principle.
That's the biblical
100%.
principle.
So where is that in the dating atmosphere? Why the thing? Because we watch a lot of couple shows.
Yeah.
And people are always like, I gotta test it first.
Right.
Yeah.
And even
Yeah,
and
yeah.
the thing that's surprising to me, I'm hearing more
The
women,
women are
say
saying
that.
that, not the men.
Yeah, yeah.
And
The women are saying
I'm like,
that.
wow.
That's
They
crazy.
say I gotta test it out. Listen, if we gonna rock,
Yep.
then
We
and
gotta-
I'm
that
like,
gotta
Say
be-
try
wow.
it before you
It
buy
got to
it.
be
Yes.
whatever. So we understand the principle of soul ties,
Yes.
and that's the reason you don't supposed to be sleeping around. And this is one of the things when I think of that. The reason that you want to wait is because you're both going to experience this together, and then you're going to grow in that together. And a lot of things that happen in marriages is you've been doing the most,
Yep.
and then you meet someone that's more conservative,
Yeah.
and then they're not doing the most
It's
because
not
they're not
compatible
comfortable.
anymore. Yeah.
And then you're like, they're not getting me where I
Exactly.
need to get. But that's because you got all this practice you're supposed to
Absolutely.
have. It's supposed to be y'all learning this
Learning
together.
yeah.
But just give me y'all point of view of how that goes along with dating and everything.
I think you're absolutely right. The thing is, I have to admit that isn't how I've lived my life. But you're right. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not something that I hide that I have sex with my girlfriend and we're not married yet, right? But one thing that I do realize, I'm going to tell you a story. My pro fight, he was 30, I want to say 34, 35 when he met his now wife. Promiscuous man, doing his thing, living his life. She had her own past too. But when they met each other, there was just the energy about them, right? And I think that when you're more mature, you don't play around, right? You know you done had the field enough. You're like, this is no fun. It doesn't, we were just talking about this. It's meaningless. And as you mature as a man, and I'm sure as you mature as a woman, you get so tired of meaningless sex, meaningless friends, meaningless environments. You need things to have value because you need things that give you consistency and peace.
Yes.
Right? And so one thing that they did was when he dropped down on one knee to say, I do. He told us, he's like, because we saw him a few months later. He's like, man, I'm struggling. I'm like, what you struggling with? And she said the same thing. She's struggling. She's like, we took a vow that we were not, in this year until we get married, we are not going to have sex. We're not going to please ourselves. We're not going to do anything sexual. We are going to go on a spiritual journey to cleanse ourselves before God. That's what they told each other. And I understand that because when you have gone through life lusting and now you're trying to go into partnership and be with this person for forever, and you've played the field, it's hard to flip that switch on
Yeah.
and off.
Yeah.
And I've talked about that even in my relationship, going from being a player to being in a relationship. Those ties, those people, those actions, those tendencies don't leave just because you left.
That's right. That's
They're
right.
all still there. And that causes problems, that causes conflict. And then you wonder why you struggle with temptation. You wonder why you struggle with not being able to control yourself when you're out and about around certain people. And you wonder why you don't let certain things go. And that's a lot of things that we see nowadays. You carrying other people into that relationship.
Yes.
So I think that from any aspect, one, premarital sex, if you can not go down that route and you can wait till marriage, is the best route that you can do. But if you have been doing it before you get into a relationship, this is even something that Rex does at the start of every single year, where he does his cleanse and he goes 30 days with no alcohol, no sex, no anything, right? Put yourself through a period of abstinence from the world. That way you can develop control over yourself, your urges, and your tendencies, and you can meet this person as a much cleaner, more whole vessel.
That's good.
Wow.
So, God put some stuff in my heart. So I got 3
Okay,
points.
come on.
Exposure diminishes conviction. Right? What does that mean? That means that, yes, we're supposed to take the biblical approach and wait until marriage. But the way I was raised, right, everybody was having sex, right? And if you wasn't having sex, you were a loser, right? You were being talked about.
Yes.
And this
Yes.
we're talking about 6th grade.
Yes.
We're
Wow.
Wow.
He's not lying.
We're talking about 6th grade having sexual experiences. People showing you the news that they were just sent, like
Wow.
this, that exposure. So, like, and it makes you feel bad if you aren't exposed to it. And then, like I said, my dad was a promiscuous man. My granddad was a promiscuous man. My older brothers were promiscuous. If everything around you leads to promiscuity, then hell, you just gonna product of your environment.
Yeah.
Right.
So nothing in you makes you want to wait because you didn't see anybody else wait. My mama had her first kid at 13. She had 5 kids before she turned age 20. She didn't wait. My uncles had their kids before they was 20. My sisters had their kids before they was 20. Nobody waited. So what is the value of waiting if I've never seen waiting, right? So if you were exposed to it, then that conviction that you have to doing it, it goes away.
Yes.
It diminishes. Number 2, the more you give yourself to the wrong people, the less you'll have for the right woman. Kind of speaks to marriage. If I'm out here being a dog my whole life, then I finally get married, I may not have much to give to her.
Yes.
Right? Especially if she doesn't have that many experiences. And another thing that goes to your first point, it says we have too many experiences now, and nobody wants to deal with teaching a man or a woman how to please them. So marriage is supposed to be where we learn how to please each other. It's
That's
supposed
right,
to be
that's right.
where we create that intimacy to where, okay, I find out, okay, if I touch this spot, this happens. If I touch that spot, this happens. That's your no-no zone. We're supposed to learn these things. But because I may come into a relationship or to a marriage with 20 bodies and she may come with 15 bodies, she's experienced an array of experiences, and I've done the same thing. I have a type now. And
Yes.
if you don't fit that type, then we're not going to mesh well.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that is something that creates that problem. So do I talk about it? When I have conversations with couples and they haven't started having sex, I always encourage to not have sex until they know it's serious. For men, that's a promiscuous man, and he's courting somebody or dating somebody. I always challenge them, don't have sex with them until you love them. If you don't plan on waiting until marriage, don't do it until you love them, because what tends to happen is if I get what I want before I truly like you or love you, then I'm going to go to the next thing because the catch is up.
Yeah.
I caught you.
Yep.
Right.
The real gin.
So then that is some of the pee that's in the pool.
Yeah. Yes.
And so it's pee on all sides.
Yes, absolutely.
I even think about Rex, how did you learn how to have sex? Like, what was your standard for learning sex?
Porn.
Porn.
I was exposed
Porn and rap.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was exposed to porn
rap.
at age 5
Oh,
years
yes.
old.
I'm gonna beat it up.
Right.
Think about the songs.
Yes.
Well, no, I know what the songs say, but I guess maybe anyway.
But you think about it, that's all you learn. Like, I've talked about this with my boy Jalen. We have such a traumatic view of what sex is supposed to be.
Yeah.
That's absolutely true.
I can't. I for the longest part of my life, I thought the rougher, the harder you
Yeah.
did, that's the best thing.
Yeah.
Till I started hanging around older men and older women, and they
Yeah.
start telling you like, don't nobody want that all the time.
That's right.
Where's the sensualness? Where's the passion? Where's the emotional connection?
Where's the real
But you can't
intimacy?
exactly. But you can't have that when you're messing around with everybody.
Yeah.
You can't have that. You got to shut your feelings off.
Yeah.
It's like even experiences with my girlfriend to a certain point, it was like when you say let's F, right? Like let's do that, that ain't the same thing as saying let's make love. I want to make love to you.
Yeah, literally.
Just that concept. And this is how we communicating with each other. But we're supposed to be in love. So you have to unlearn that. You have to remove your flesh from that experience and be like, man, this isn't the way this was supposed to be designed. So to your point, premarital sex is not the way, and it's for a multitude of reasons that we are all very aware of. And for all these reasons, because if you was with your wife or your husband the first time you have it, you wouldn't have these problems.
That's right.
It'd
That's
all
right.
be okay. But, you know, we have been exposed to it. That is the standard. That is, I couldn't wait to lose my virginity.
Yeah.
I couldn't wait to be the one of my friends. I didn't want to be last.
Right.
Because every single time when you find out somebody has sex, that's one person else off the list. How many of y'all left?
Right.
I see y'all 3 over there. Y'all don't even know them. Y'all ain't no men yet.
Yeah.
So
Literally.
Wow. That it's interesting that you spoke about rap. You're finding your sexuality, your sexual identity
Yep.
through rap.
Yeah.
And something that I spoke about to several people and to my husband is when we were coming up, that is when hip hop and rap,
yes,
that was like our generation.
That's when it
that's when it
boomed.
started.
Like
Right.
we're baby Gen Xers.
Yeah.
So that was it. And I found my sexuality through rap because before the songs that we listened to were our parents' songs.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
We didn't have our own songs.
Yeah.
So when Snoop Dogg came out and
Doggy
NWA
style.
came out
Yeah.
and all of them came out, they talked about women in a certain way.
Yes.
And I went to a predominantly white school. But the way that they talked about black women was a way that they were attracted to them.
Yeah.
So that was the first time that I saw myself as attractive because there weren't a lot of black guys,
Yeah.
you know, coming after me because there weren't
Yeah.
any there
There
really.
were none
right.
there.
And so I learned my attractiveness was to measure up to what they were saying
Yeah.
on the rap
Yeah.
songs,
Yeah.
which is not what
Exactly.
how I should have learned that. So
100%.
I definitely resonate with what you're saying. How you guys found identity through the environment in which you were raised, right?
Because nobody wants to have that conversation. That the sex talk is very taboo. I never had the birds and the bees talk. I never had none of those talks. I remember, so like I said, 5 years old, I was exposed. I found my dad's porn stash. Right, that's one thing. Ghetto Booty 55. You know what I'm saying? All the crazy
Wow.
songs. So that
You
became,
still remember.
right? No, that's these things ingrained. So we went from one apartment complex, and we finally got a house. When we got a house, we had some older brothers in the neighborhood that had the magazines. They exposed me to the magazines. I'm like, damn, we got the magazine now. Got the
Yeah.
video,
Oh, you got
got
the
the
tape,
magazine.
yep.
Then you got the TV channels where you stay up at 2 a.m. You
Right.
gonna see a little titty or
Last,
something.
last.
So you learn
Parents
all-
come in the room, last.
you learning these things, and and then I remember my grandmother. I remember one day I was in middle school, and she just gave me a box of condoms, and she was like, "If you're gonna be doing it, be careful." There was no conversation on how to use the condom
Yep.
or when should I wait to do it. My dad never talked to me about that. My mom never talked to me about that. My granny gave me the box of condoms, and that was kind of it. And I remember. I was around that time, especially middle school. Sexting was a really big thing.
Yes.
Right. You
Yes.
having sexual conversations through text.
Yeah.
And I remember my dad asked me to run outside to grab something. And when I did, I sat my phone down and he went through my phone. So as he's going through my phone, he kind of made me feel, he was reading the message out loud. Son, what is all this? Mind you, he's a promiscuous man. He showed me through the women he was bringing around the type of man he's supposed to be.
Right.
So when this finally came about, when he went to the barbershop, I was around his guys. Y'all would never believe what I saw on my son's phone. made me feel bad in all those moments.
Mm-hmm.
So now I don't. You can't even open up the door for a conversation with us about that because you closed it before it got open.
Yeah.
So I'm learning from the music. I'm learning from the older guys in the environment because I'm not getting it at home.
Yeah.
So if, like, for example, my lady, she was very adamant about just waiting and saving herself because her mom and her dad preached it. Her uncles and her granddads preached it. Her dad had his first kid at 35 years old.
Yeah.
Think about 35 years old versus having it at 13.
Yeah.
It's a different ball game. So there's just a different standard. So once again, that exposure takes you so far.
Yeah.
You gonna go to question two?
Yeah. So
Yeah, this is gonna be a good
So-
one too.
So as I spoke to my ladies, they have experienced something that I've heard of, but I had to really look it up to see what it really, really meant.
Right.
And it says many women I spoke with have had the same experience of love bombing.
Yeah. Yeah.
An instance of lavishing someone with attention or affection, especially in order to influence or manipulate them.
Yes.
Why do you think so many women have this experience from men they have dated?
Go ahead. You want me to go? Go ahead.
You go first.
All right.
I'm gonna come with a story.
Because I think, one, when women are in the state of really wanting to be chosen, really want to date, they will believe anything.
So you're saying desperate.
I was just about to say that.
Let's just say what you said. Listen,
Come on, man,
let's
you got all
say-
these words.
You
Say
said
it.
titty. You already said titty. Come on. Come with it.
Yeah, they will believe it. They're so open.
Yeah.
And they got these blinders on that relationship is the only thing that they want, right? So they don't care about the red flags. They don't care about the extra attention. The attention is something that they're not used to having, so they're going to do anything to keep feeling that thing, right? Even if a man shows them the attention, gets what they want, and then kind of backs away a little bit, as long as he continues to trickle in a little attention, trickle in a little affection.
Trick.
Yeah, it's going to keep her locked in. So there's a lot of signs that you miss when you're desperate for something, right? Versus being patient and waiting on God to bless you, to show you who that person is. A lot of us, we live in this microwave society. We want it now. I had a conversation with a friend, and she's single, been struggling in relationships, and she said, Rex, over the last couple months, I've seen 5 of my friends get engaged. And I'm like upset with God, like, dang, God, what about me? She was like, I had to take a hiatus from Instagram because the last 2 engagements I saw, it made me break down. Because I'm like, what
Yeah.
about me? And then so when we had a follow-up conversation, she was like, well, I've been dealing with this guy. He really ain't the best, but he's been giving me attention, and I just want to know, like, what should I do? I said, listen to what you just said. He really ain't the best. He just been giving me little attention. So in other words, she's preparing herself for the bare minimum.
Yes.
It's crazy how you use
I
that
was
word.
gonna head there, bro. I was there.
She's preparing herself for a man that is not going to take full responsibility for her only because she's been exposed to everybody else around her getting engaged, and she just wants to be next so bad that she's willing to do something that she knows she's not supposed to do.
Yeah.
But the thing is you're trying to be next. But if their relationship is solid and good, you're trying to be next engaged in something shaky that's
100%.
probably not going
Not
to
what you
make
think it is.
Yeah.
Right.
And then you think that's going to improve when marriage comes?
No,
It's kind of like what you said earlier. You've already set the guidelines. He
Yep.
already knows that he can give you bare minimums
Yep.
and you're going to stay.
Exactly.
And he's going to be your bare minimum husband.
Exactly.
Oof.
That's when it's going to exist,
Oof.
right? We talked about that bare minimum. It exists in those situations, and that's
Absolutely.
where it's rooted in. And I think about it like this. I think women have created that type of man themselves. And the reason why I say that is,
Come on, let's hear.
I'm going to tell you why.
good.
Because we've already said it. Women have the power.
Absolutely.
Women have the power. What women accept from men, that is what men become. I have seen it from the time I was a little boy in kindergarten to this day at 26 years old. What women like, that's what the men gonna replicate. Prime example. If you got some guy that's a celebrity that all the women fiend over, dudes start dressing like him. What does he wear? How does he move? I'm gonna try and act like him. They'll form their identities off of him. If there was a boy band when you were coming up that all the girls liked, or you made sure you knew their songs, you made sure that you knew how to dress like him, talk like him, did your hair like him, all that. Men don't emulate men. They emulate what women want in a man.
Oh, that's good.
And so when a woman is saying, and I've seen this with a lot of women now. It's so transactional. Women don't want love; they want luxury, right?
Oof.
So if you can pay for all our drinks at the club, if you can take me out on expensive dates, if you can buy me bags, if you can do all these things, and I'm gonna tell you how men figure it out that that's what they want. Social media.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna tell you that always tells me is the stories.
Yeah.
People's stories tell you everything. They'll repost the song. A man better trick off on me. They'll be out with their friends and they'll post the dudes and they'll be like, look at him paying for all our bottles. That's a real man. They'll repost some lady who man just flew her out the country. This is what I need. You broke Negroes can't talk to me.
Yeah.
Right? So now the men are realizing, okay, y'all want a man that got some money and he gonna spend it on you. That's what y'all looking for. And see, the thing is, the women are saying it because they're thinking of it from a perspective of one of two things. One, if the relationship gonna go bad anyway, at least I'm getting something out of it.
Yeah.
Or two, they want love and they think that these tangible things are what gets them love.
Yeah.
And the reality is those tangible things are just tangible things.
Yeah.
And they hold no value other than what you cast upon them. And a man can give you all those things and he not even thinking twice about you at night.
Wow.
He got
That's
all the money in the
good.
world. $5,000 on a bag, girl, I make that in a day. I don't care. But it's gonna let me get the cookie.
Yeah.
That's
So I don't
good.
care.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter, and it's on every scale. It don't matter if it's luxury from that perspective or if it's the $20 he sent to fill up your tank. Whatever way she can feel like he cares, that's the way that you judge a man caring, is by what money he's willing to spend on you.
Yeah.
When you change that value as a woman as being something that you care about, you differentiate yourself from all other women.
100%.
The woman who sits there and say, I don't need you to pay for that. You know what I'm saying? You come up to me and you're trying to introduce me to all this money. I can do for myself.
Yeah.
Right? You honestly should say no to a man who's trying to lead with money. Because more than likely, he knows that that's his best attribute.
Yeah. You take that
It's
out the
his
table.
Oof.
He like, damn, what I got
He
next?
ain't no good man. He know he don't bring nothing else to the table other than money.
No, I gotta have
think about
conversation.
my homegirl. Not even my homegirl. This is my sister. She's a twin. So she got a twin sister. I talked to her, and she'll tell me about situations that some of her friends are dealing with men in their life. And the thing is that I realize, like, your friends got low self-esteem and low self-worth. And so these men come into their life, and when they talk about, oh, I think he's the one, and they've only been on one or two dates, and all he's ever done is the first day he took you out somewhere nice to eat. The second day he wants to come over to your house.
Yeah.
I want to come over. I want to cook for you. He don't need to be at your house. Why are y'all going into this intimate setting like this that
Wow.
soon?
Well, you know why.
Because
want
he
the
wants
intimate.
one
Exactly.
thing.
Yeah.
That's right.
He want one thing, but they don't even see that. And as a matter of fact, no, they see it. They know.
Yeah.
But they're hopeful because they're desperate. They're willing to deal with that.
Right.
And say,
Right.
you know what, it's okay. I'll deal with him wanting this so long as it ends up in a relationship at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But it's not.
Correct. They're doing that because they're like, well, I know he don't love me now, but after this,
He
he
gonna
gonna
love
love me.
No.
And it's not.
Exactly. It's not changing.
You can't sex a man into loving you.
Man, what?
Oof. Say that
Into
again,
treating you
sir.
Right? You feel me? You cannot sex a man into loving you. And you just can't. And another thing I want to add as far as the control goes is something I saw growing up. My granny and my granddad, they would mess around, what they call it, what is it, hatching? What is it called when you living with somebody you're not supposed to be living with?
Oh,
Shacking?
hitch. Not. What did you say?
Shacking.
There you
Shacking.
go.
So,
There you go.
and my granny said to him one day, she said, you know what? From today forward, you can no longer stay here. You can stay at your house. We're no longer having sex. We're no longer doing all of this intimate stuff until you make me your wife. He proposed the following week.
Come on.
Proposed the following week. They was dating for years. He's helped raise us. He's been around the family. They've been together for years. And it took for her to say, she took something off the table.
Yes.
What he really wanted. And she said, now I'm going to have to get what I want from you. And that's what this is. And they were happily married until she passed. But it's that control piece.
Yep.
Wow.
You take something off the table. If a man leaves with money and you also have your own money, then you're in a great position because now you
Yeah.
don't need
You
him
don't
for his
need
money.
him.
If you are dating as a woman and personally as a woman you don't have any money, you're going to always need a man with money. And a man knows when you need him. Man knows when you need him. He will take advantage of that need. And mind you, we talk about marriage. It's your responsibility to take care of her. But boyfriend and girlfriend, It's not required.
That's
Yeah,
right.
Correct.
Yep.
Right.
That's
It's
right.
not required.
That's right.
So, and that's what a lot of people are wanting, is that provision without the covenant.
Commitments.
title. Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that's where-
also we talked about submission. Men want that in relationship. Then you're not the husband.
Not a
Yep.
requirement.
Yep.
No.
Yeah, that's a
Right.
marriage
Exactly.
Right.
thing. That's
Exactly.
not boyfriend girlfriend.
Can I add one thing real
Absolutely.
quick?
Absolutely.
We talked about the engagements, the boyfriend, all
Yeah.
that stuff. It goes back to something I heard somebody say. It might have been you, Rex. I can't remember who said it. A lot of people are putting in the work towards the marriage, or putting in the work in, or towards the wedding, or towards the engagement, or towards the boyfriend and girlfriend title, but not towards the marriage in and of itself,
Right.
not towards the long-term relationship. And so all your actions are to get to this point,
Yeah.
not to get through this point.
Yeah.
And so it's gonna die eventually once you reach that particular goal and you've done everything in your power just to get there. Sometimes you gotta ask yourself, what hell did I have to put up with just to get this far?
Yeah.
Right.
Now, if I want us to elevate what you're supposed to do with your partner, you should not be staying the same.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's the law of decay or whatever it is. Things don't stay the same. They either grow or they become worse.
Yeah.
And so if you're not doing anything to improve, or the person you're with is not doing anything to improve that relationship, and you have to fight for every little piece of effort out of them, you're going to be fighting your whole life. And eventually you're not going to have no more fight left. And you're going to become the type of person that's just okay with it. And you just give
Right.
up.
You just roll over.
Yep.
Listen, what you don't understand is when you're dating, it's just like when you plant a seed in the ground. You're planting the seed. Even when you get engaged, you're still underground.
Yes.
When you say the vows, you start sprouting out. Well, now we're about to start being exposed to elements and
100%,
rain and all that. That's when the real work. When you say I do, and y'all go out there and do your first dance, and then you go home, day one.
Yeah.
Now the real work begins.
Yeah.
That's why one of the things that we try to do is we be really intentional about dating. We go out on date night. We like, oh, we boo. That's my boo.
Yeah.
And it's intentional. And a lot of people are like, well, we married. We ain't do all that. No, you're still pouring into this relationship
100%.
because we're growing and we're maturing.
Yep.
Every
And then when children come involved, our children, our family know that they second.
Yeah.
Like she won.
Yeah.
And they afterthoughts.
But I get where you come from.
No facts.
So-
there's this book called Single, Dating, Engaged, Married. Great book. And the main thing he said was the dating phase is the evaluation phase. And a lot of us, we don't look at it as an evaluation phase. What we do is we go with the flow. But the only thing that goes with the flow is dead fish. So that being the case, I'm evaluating your heart. I'm evaluating your intentionality. I'm evaluating your purpose. I'm evaluating your respect for yourself and for other people. I'm evaluating, can you show up for me and can you show up for yourself? I'm evaluating what is it in you that I can help you pour into, and same thing vice versa. I'm evaluating these things. And if at any part of the evaluation phase, something goes left, you have to lean into that thing that went left and look at it, because if you just say, "Oh, that's not a problem,"
Yeah.
that's going to be the very thing that ends the marriage.
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
We don't want to hold you up. We know y'all got more questions.
Yes, I got this last question. I think is a biggie, and it deals with social media.
Okay.
And you guys are big on social media. We talk
Yeah.
about it all the time. We're like, oh my gosh, y'all are awesome social media kings. But a lot of women resent that they have to be on Instagram because, I mean, Instagram is one of the platforms, but I think the platform that's most used for dating, they resent being on there because it conjures up a lot of insecurity, jealousy, mental health issues, but they feel like they need to be on there to find somebody.
Right.
What advice would you give to a woman who feels stuck on social media because they feel like if it's like FOMO,
That's
right?
Yeah.
So they feel stuck on there. They feel like they have
Yeah.
to be on there because they're looking for somebody, and that's one of the platforms to do it.
I'm say this like this. I myself hate social media. It's too much of a distraction. It's not good for your mental. If I didn't have to be on social media for my business, I wouldn't be on there at all. Because what I've realized is everybody that you need to know and be caught up with and keep in your life, they there.
Thank you.
And you can find them. If God wants you to find them, you will find
That's
them.
right.
Right? Everybody else that follows you, you really don't care that much about. You do not have to be on those apps to find your husband. You don't have to be on those apps, but you need to be outside. One thing you can't do is you're not on the apps and you inside your house all day. You don't ever put yourself out in the world to where that man can find you.
Yep.
Now, what I will say is, more importantly than being on Instagram, more importantly than being outside or being in your bedroom or anywhere else, is the environment you do choose to go to. If you constantly, when you go outside, going outside for you is going to the club, well, what do you expect to get?
Right.
A lot of times you're talking about the environment. That's a fast environment. It's an intoxicated environment. It's an environment about lowering your inhibitions and feeding into your temptations. That's literally what they're designed for. Well, you could potentially find your mate there, but you're also going to have to weave through a whole lot of other nonsense from the majority of people that are there.
Right.
And it also just isn't going to serve you at the end of the day for yourself. So you need to put yourself in environments where people got to have a little bit of emotional intelligence, a little bit of a spiritual connection, a little bit of a focus and a plan for their life to even be there. Whether that's conferences for your profession, whether that's jazz and R&B nights where people they like listening to music that's about love and feeling your emotions, not about, oh, F you and I'm going to do this too. I'm a kid. Get out of that environment. Go to a poetry night. Go to different atmospheres. Go to church.
Okay.
You can find that man there. Put yourself in environments where the people that you're looking for, the age range that you're looking for, it's designed for that. There are churches in Houston that are designed for people that are in their 20s, people that are in their 30s, people that are in their 40s, whatever. Go there. Put yourself in those environments because you can find a man there. There are plenty of men in that exact same circumstance, and they hate using social media too, and they're not going to slide up in that DM anyway. So it's okay not to be on there, but you need to be outside.
That's good.
So me, everything he said was amazing. One thing I'm gonna add is, I don't think we were ever meant to be exposed to that many
Man.
people.
Man.
That's good.
We were never meant to be.
That's good.
Think about it like this, right? I hear my dad and them used to talk, and they say, well, you know, we didn't have phones back in the day, right? So we used to write letters, so they had the pagers. You had to really work to see that one person. Whether you walked to the house, which is a couple miles away, and you had to talk on the porch because you couldn't go in the house.
Right.
You speaking right now.
Right? Or if you did have a phone conversation, you couldn't talk on the phone for 6 hours.
No.
You had a few minutes.
Right.
Your mom be like, get off that phone.
Get on that phone. You call them the landline.
Right.
Somebody else might be calling. Get off that phone.
You got a few minutes. Even before social media hit for me, my go-to was, Mama, can I see your phone? And so I had to, while my mama was asleep or taking a nap, was my opportunity.
Write that number down on your paper.
To do my texting or do my phone. Oh, my mama up, so I gotta go. But now, you mean to tell me I can go on the app and I can locate women in Asia?
Yeah.
Right? I can locate women in Africa?
Yep.
Right? I can see some of the most beautiful women in the world. So now, when my girlfriend pissed me off, she ain't as bad no more.
Yeah.
Because
I got options.
I got attention options from everybody. We were never meant to be exposed to this many people.
Yeah.
And social media knows it, right? They find ways. Instagram, for example. Now, Instagram, anytime you get any type of notification, it'll buzz your phone.
Right.
Almost like a text message.
Yeah.
And it's annoying because we're so attached to our phones. The first thing we
Yeah,
want to do
Yep.
is be here.
And it sucks you right in.
Right.
Yep.
So now that we're having this conversation, the phone's already picking it up. So when we hop on there, we're going to see stuff about dating apps.
Yep.
That's
We're going
right.
to see stuff
That's
about people
right.
out of the country. So the conversations that we're having, so the fact that we're exposed to this many people is already harmful for us and for our relationships. So what I would say is, you definitely don't need to be on social media.
Yeah.
And then if you are on social media, you got to have a balance.
Yes.
If you're on social media with a relationship, it's tough. And I see it from both sides. Before I got engaged, with this relationship, we didn't post each other at all.
Yeah.
What
But-
was the thought behind that?
Because my last relationships, I was...
You post them a lot.
You knew who I was with. But let's just say she pissed me off. Let's just say we broke up on accident. I'm going to take you off my page. So that allowed other people to see,
Oh, something's going on.
They know
yeah,
something up.
they got weaknesses in their
Wow.
relationship, right? And then you put them back up there. And then, like, there was that part of my past relationships where it's like, you ain't posted me in a while.
Yeah. What's going on?
Insecurity. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
so,
Oh, wow.
so now I need to be posted more.
Yeah.
You only post me on your story. You ain't never posted me on your real page before. It's all these expectations, right? So with this relationship, first of all, she kind of brought it up. She was just like, I'm not a public person by any means. They don't see my family. They see me. They see me traveling. They may see my career stuff, but that's about it. And I said, okay, I respect that. And I said, I've had the past where I've posted all the time, and that produced no fruit.
Yeah.
it produced no fruit.
Yep.
So, and I had many situations where the guys that I grew up around, they was following my girl,
Right.
and they were in the DMs.
Right.
I'm just like,
Listen.
what?
Yep. And they watching all of it.
They watching all of it, so I'm just like, let's take a different approach. So this time I said, look, me and you, we're gonna enjoy each other, we're gonna learn each other, we're gonna evaluate each other, we're gonna spend time with each other's family, we're gonna have a great time. We're gonna take hella pictures,
Yes.
but we're gonna keep them to ourselves.
Yes.
So when we finally do post, it's gonna be when you got that ring on, and it's no more, oh, that's his girlfriend, no, that's his fiance and
Yes.
future wife, and it's a different ball game, a different ring to it. So that was the thought process behind it. So even now that we finally made an initial post, it's not something we're just going to continue doing. People going to know we good, but I don't want people to know we good just based off of Instagram posts.
That's good.
Because I used to be the guy that even if I just had the hugest argument with my partner, I make a post, man, I love you so much. You're the best thing that's ever happened to me.
Like, what we
Couple
doing, man?
goals, right?
It's funny that y'all brought that up because I was sitting here thinking, everybody talk about power couples.
Yeah.
That what you're supposed to be is a power person and a power
Yes.
person, and you're becoming one.
Yes.
100%.
Not a power couple,
Not the
a
couple
power
itself.
one.
Yeah.
And,
Come on,
and
babe.
people are so focused.
Okay,
like that.
I love
They're so
it.
focused on power couple. No, you're supposed to be becoming one.
Yeah.
And the thing is to know is once you get engaged and you get married, the work has just begun.
100%.
Because 10 years from now,
Yeah.
you are not going to be the same person
Yeah.
that you were before because you're supposed to be growing. And that's what that partner's supposed to do. Iron sharpens iron.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's funny how when you get married and you start living with somebody,
Yeah.
how it exposes you to weaknesses you didn't know you
Yeah.
had.
That's right. Absolutely.
And that's what marriage is supposed to do.
That's
Yes.
good.
Well said, baby. Well, we want you guys to plug yourselves.
That's
Yes.
We're at the end of the show.
I had something I wanted to add in.
Oh,
Go
go,
ahead.
I had a
please,
couple
please,
things I wanted to
please.
do. So, first thing I was gonna say is from women that are trying to evaluate what is this man's intentions for me. One of the easiest ways that I found, I know that for me I do, and I can always tell the difference with my homeboys or anything like that. When he speaks on his future, when he talks about where he wants to be in 6 months, a year, 10 years, are you included in those plans? Does he mention you in that? Babe, I can see us when we're here and I buy this particular property. I want you to manage this. When I run the business, you can have this role and all these different things. Because, man, we dream a lot, man. We have a lot of thoughts about our future. We think about our future every single day. And if he isn't mentioning you in those and doesn't have plans for you in that future, he is not taking you seriously. He doesn't picture you in it. You are temporary. A man that is serious about you, you will hear about yourself in his plans. So that's a key thing. Pick up on that.
I got something.
Go ahead,
too.
add that.
Yeah. So I'm gonna add to that. When you sit down and having a conversation, initial conversation, ask that man, why'd your last relationship end?
Ooh, that's good.
A man that is not ready for the next relationship is going to place all the accountability on the other person.
Absolutely.
Bro, she went this, bro,
Yep.
she did this, she did this.
Yep.
But a man that's really locked in, that's reflected, that's kind of healed a little bit, is going to say, but I,
Yes.
although she,
Yep.
I did this. So pay attention to how he responds to that. Pay attention to when he brings up sex. Pay attention to it. What's his relationship with it? Like, truly pay attention to it. Pay attention to his friend group,
Yes.
right? Everybody's going to always expose themselves, right? If he has friends if they're all single, that's going to tell you something. If some of them are married, some of them are single, that's also going to show you something. So pay attention to his friend groups. Pay attention to what he does with his leisure time,
Yes.
right? I truly don't believe there's anything wrong with playing the game, but I think as a growing and developing man, if you aren't playing the game online to win money or to
Or you got complete free time and
Yeah.
you done taken care of everything else.
yeah, if you're not doing it like that, then pay attention to how he spends his leisure time. Is he growing? Is he developing? Is he
Yeah.
working? Is he serving? Like, what is he doing with his leisure time? Especially as I'm 28, about to be 29.
I'm 26.
26. So once you get out of that college phase
Yeah.
and now it's the real world situation, it's time for kids, time for marriage, time for everything else.
You got time for
You
games.
got to pay attention to what he's doing with his leisure time, because the last thing you want is a grown boy.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah.
Baby.
Ooh,
That is
Listen.
so true.
man.
Baby.
You done started something because we got to get on here because there's a couple things came to mind when you were talking, but a grown boy.
We can do an
Yes.
episode called Grown Boys.
Man,
So,
but
yeah.
yeah, thank you for
Absolutely.
that insight, guys. It's
Absolutely.
I feel like all the single ladies are gonna be
Yeah.
keyed in and listening to, because you guys have a wealth of experience and information. But as I said before, plug
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
where we
I
can
go first,
find
Rex?
you.
Absolutely. So me personally, you can find me on all platforms as I am Rex Howard Jr. I am a relationship, personal development, and sex coach, and I'm also a therapist as well. So if you're looking for help, you're looking for advice, you're looking how to navigate your relationships, or just how to become a better man, become more emotionally intelligent, then you can find me on there.
For me, you can find me on every platform at Miles.the-millennial. If you want to book a speaker, you need a speaker for young adults and for youth. They're trying to navigate their way through life, or you need literature that helps them navigate their way through life. You can find that at www.milesthemillennial.com. You can find me everywhere. That way I do life coaching as well. So if you need somebody to help you out with something, reach out to me, DM me, and we can definitely talk it through. Ladies, don't lose hope.
Yeah.
Don't lose hope.
Yeah.
Social media makes things look way worse than what they really are. You need to be out in the real world around real people. Back in the day, if you got your heart broke and you had an issue with something going on, you had to go talk to other people and have real conversations with other people that know you, and they can tell you you're right, you're wrong, I agree, I don't agree. Nowadays, if you hurt, you get on Twitter and you see 10,000 people retweeting the same feelings that you have in that time period. And now it becomes truth, because 10,000 people can't be thinking this and it not be true. But you don't realize 10,000 people ain't even 1% of the people in this country.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's a minority.
That's good.
So just think about it.
And then you can follow us both at Let's Talk Like Men Podcast on Instagram, TikTok,
Yes.
Facebook, YouTube, on literally all the platforms. We talk about these conversations on a day-to-day basis. We post like 3 times a day. So you're going to open up your phone and see something.
Yes.
Well, we know with just the people in our group, there's men, they're looking for wives.
100%.
Yeah.
They are not trying to
Yeah.
one-night it. They're not trying to play games. They are looking for women that's ready to get married.
Yes.
And they've been having difficulty navigating that. And that's another episode.
yeah, maybe we'll
Most
get y'all
definitely.
back.
But hold on.
So
You-
y'all can talk
You can
from that
find me. I'm
perspective.
Mr. Lonnie Walker on Instagram.
Yes, sir.
And you can find us at Way of the Walker
The Way
under-
of the Walker
underscore
podcast.
podcast. Last time I said hashtag podcast, and you are my beautiful wife.
Thank you, baby.
Latoya the
Latoya
Brave.
the Brave on Instagram. But we just
Girl,
want
you look good.
Thank you.
Oh, okay.
So we just wanted to say thank you guys so much for coming out. We're gonna
Absolutely.
have you back, I'm sure.
Yes.
So if you found what we shared here worthwhile, we ask that you share it with someone who you find worthwhile.
Go ahead.
Good.
And we'll see you guys next time.
Absolutely.
Bye.
We'll build this together. Any type of weather. Unity is key. Keeping first G-O-D. We will conquer the world. Baby, just you and me. I can vision us now. One big happy family.